Now on for a distinctly Scottish flavour to today's Sign On.
Hello and welcome to Your Views from some of Britain's farthest flung areas. I'll be reporting on the deaf community here in Aberdeen, Scotland's third largest city, 125 miles north of Edinburgh and 500 miles north of London.
And I'm 200 miles to the west of Aberdeen, in the Outer Hebrides on the Long Island of Lewis and Harris. Here you'll find the biggest concentration of Gaelic speakers in Scotland. But look carefully and you'll also find some deaf people, and it's them I'll be talking to later in the programme.
From England, Aberdeen may seem remote, but it's a city of over 200,000 people. To them, it contains most of what you need in life. Aberdeen has always been one of Scotland's more prosperous towns. For centuries, fish from the seas and a great farming hinterland brought in wealth from both directions. The farms are still there, and although fishing has declined, another North Sea industry has grown to even greater importance. For 20 years, Britain has looked upon Aberdeen as being the oil capital of the country. The oil business has meant that it's easier to find work in Aberdeen than in most other British cities. More work means that people are more likely to stay here, where their roots are. Now let's compare that with the deaf community. Can the same be said of it?
Well, most of the young people go off to Doncaster College, and when they come back, it seems that they just can't settle. And I think a lot of that's to do with the attitude of the older generation. But I really feel as if they should be encouraging the youngsters. But it's very difficult to say what would be best, as I don't know what the youngsters think or say about it to each other.
We've got some young ones just now, but most go off to London, Derby and Doncaster. Some return, decide they don't like it and go back again. I don't know why. Derby and Doncaster spoil things by encouraging all of them away, making the numbers in Aberdeen go down. I want Aberdeen to have its own college for the deaf, but it's difficult. There are very few interpreters here. The money is there, but you just can't find qualified interpreters. Some people who have stage 1 and stage 2 want these kind of jobs, but the signing is very poor. It's not quite right. The English is a problem. That's why most of the children don't want to know and go to England, because there are lots of good qualified interpreters there. I see lots of different interpreters on the television, but in Aberdeen there are very few. It's very disappointing.
One of my dreams is that Scotland should have its own college. We get this funding towards education and then we give it away to places in London or England. That way it seems that people are flourishing south of the border. What about Scotland? We need a college of our own here near to home, not to have to go far away to England. But it seems that we have to. We have money here in Scotland, but we keep sending it away. It's really disappointing. We should most definitely have our own place here.
This year, Aberdeen Deaf Club is celebrating its centenary. 100 years that's seen many changes, both in lifestyle and attitudes to life.
The club was first formed in the city, where they used hired halls. It then went to Belmont Street, number 11, and the society bought these premises. As the years passed, the club moved to another place, and then to Rose Street in 1910, and there the deaf people stayed until we got these premises here in Smithfield Road in 1976.
I liked it years ago in the old club in Rose Street. Oh, we had such good times. It was good because it was central for buses and it was right in the middle of town. It was great. Then we moved here. Fewer people come because it's too far and they have to get 2 buses. Get on one, change, then get on another to get here.
My dream or hope for the future is that the deaf community can achieve equality, to get good qualifications to enable us to get good jobs, like, for example, being a health worker, and to generally improve the standard of education. That's what we want. That's all.
If the deaf community is worried about too many young people leaving Aberdeen, this is one place where there's a constant influx of deaf children. Aberdeen School for the Deaf has 45 pupils. Some of them live in the Aberdeen area, others are from the north of Scotland. Some come from as far as the islands of Orkney and Shetland and have to fly to school every week.
My name is Susan Ann.
My name is George Gabriel, and I'm 16 years old, and I live in Hunkley. And during the week I go to Pomeroy Road, and I travel on Monday to Friday.
My name is Finlay.
My name is Heather MacDonald, and I'm 15 years old, and I live in Luthermuir. I travel every morning, and it takes me about an hour.
My name is Jeanette. I'm 11 years old and I live in Aberdeen. I'm 5 and I'm 4.
The head teacher here was born and brought up in the Western Isles of Scotland. Stornoway, in fact. Mary Macaulay. Hello. Can you tell me a bit about the role or responsibility of the deaf school?
We find that the prospects are improving considerably with technology and with the oil industry in Aberdeen. We have quite a number using computers in the school, and that gives them opportunities for career choices in the future. We also put children out on work experience while they're still in school, so they can make informed choices for careers in the future. At the moment, the majority are keen to stay within the Grampian area, although in the past we have had some going off to colleges for the deaf. Lately, they've been keen to stay and use communicators and access courses in Aberdeen College and in Banffbachen College in the north. And we're keen to develop that because it's what the pupils are wanting to do themselves.
With me is one pupil who's about to leave school and wants to stay in the area, Helen Wigginton. Did you grow up in this area?
No, I came from England. I was born, then went to Grosvenor House School, then Oak Lodge, then moved to Scotland because my parents divorced. I want a job as a florist, and I don't want to go to Doncaster or Derby College. I want to go to Fraserburgh College and work in a florist. I'll be working as a trainee in a shop for 4 days and go to college for 1 day. I think I'll be really happy with that.
Thank you, Helen, and good luck for the future. After the break, Rachel will be visiting the Western Isles of Scotland and meeting a community that's even smaller and more remote. Join us then.
Everywhere you go in the Highlands and Islands of Scotland, you come across the traditional Gaelic greeting, Ceirta Míle Fáilte, which means 100,000 welcomes. The irony is that there are now fewer than 100,000 people who can speak Gaelic. It's a language that's older than English and related to the Irish Gaelic. At one time, it was spoken by more than 500,000 people over most of Scotland. Today, this island I'm standing on is the most remote, but it's the strongest bastion of the ancient Gaelic language. This is an island in two parts with two different names. To the north is the flatter, more populated part called Lewis. And here I'm in the southern, more mountainous territory of Harris. Yet even here there are deaf people and a scattered deaf community who use sign language. Here we are near Tarbert, which is the main settlement of Harris. This is where brother and sister Callum and Chrissy MacLeod have spent most of their lives.
My father and mother were born here at Leachley. I have 2 brothers who are deaf, like myself, and I have 2 hearing brothers and a hearing sister.
I was born next door, in a house that had a black tar roof. It's not there now, it's all gone. Things have changed. There was 6 in the family, along with my mother and my father. My father was a seaman. My mother was a weaveress. She used to use a wooden hand loom. I can still see it now. When I was 8, yes, 8, I went away for tests. And after a long time, the education officer, a Lewis man, said that it would be better if I went to Donaldson's school in Edinburgh. That's what the Lewis man said. So off we went, my father and I. We spent one night of the journey staying at a friend's house to rest in Edinburgh. Then we went to Donaldson's hospital. I didn't really know what was going on. My father went away. I had to have a bath and then change my clothes. There were all these boys all around me. I was totally bewildered and cried and cried. I was terribly homesick.
When I arrived in Edinburgh, I thought, my, what a big city. My father took me to school, and the house mother made me take my clothes off. She cut my hair, made me change my clothes. I had to get into this grey flannel uniform after I'd been wearing a beautiful kilt and lovely fancy shoes. After I'd changed, my father said, "Now, remember your mother?" I knew he meant mother because he would touch his breast, and that's what that meant. Then this sign for my brother Finlay, as I was always holding his hand, taking him somewhere. Another wee brother, and the baby, John Norman. "All right," I said. Then he said goodbye. I just burst into tears. I was so upset.
When I was 15, in 1939, war broke out. My father was very worried, and the Minch could have been very dangerous. So he asked the governor what to do. The governor said, "Oh, keep him at home. Don't let him come back until next year." That was in the September. Then came the January, and my sister had to go back to school. But I was told I was finished. I wondered what I would do for a job. I was 15 or 16 years old, and I kept looking at the loom, wondering if I should give it a try. My father said, "Come on, you have to learn." So I did, and that was it.
When I came back here, my father was the tweed agent for a firm in Newcastle. Well, the boss from Newcastle came up here, saw me talking with my brother, and offered me a job as a tailoress. So I moved to Newcastle, but after 6 months I was homesick. The war had finished, but I didn't settle, and thought it best to come home. Well, I cook, I knit, and sometimes sew. Sometimes, if I can't be bothered with the knitting, I'll do some crocheting. I do some things for sales of work.
It's only occasionally that Chrissy and Callum can meet up with the other deaf people on the island. But today they've managed to make the 40 miles each way trip to Stornoway, where there's a regular get-together here at the Archilloch Centre.
Hello. Shift along.
How are you?
Fine, and you?
Hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine.
How are you doing? All right?
I'm very well. I've not seen you for ages.
I live on the Isle of Lewis, about 7 miles from Stornoway. And I come to the Deaf Club every 2 weeks.
I'm not from here. I live in North Uist, which is to the south. You get there by plane.
Well, I'm really glad. Delighted to meet up with other deaf people, to see and talk with them. That's the time that I can forget about my work and all the problems to do with it, and hearing people who always try and put me down. It's a struggle to always have to lip read, or to have to write things down all the time.
I live in Newmarket. It's not far away, it's only 5 minutes drive. I come here every 2 weeks, it's quite good. We play bingo, go out to a hotel for our Christmas dinner, have Halloween parties. It's fine.
At one time, most of the people on the islands were crofters, weavers or fishermen. Among the deaf people here tonight are tweed mill workers and weavers. Some work in hospitals as cleaners or in the kitchen or laundry. Some work in old folks' homes.
Well, I work as a weaver and a painter, and I'm self-employed. I get a lot of work. The people around here and my family are all very good.
I work in Lochmaddy Hospital. I cook, clean, do everything.
I have to work here in Stornoway, as it's very difficult in Ness. I know mostly all the people that live there. They're all hearing people. I'm the only deaf person that lives in my house. In fact, I'm the only one in Ness.
To outsiders, it's too easy to see an island like this as some kind of misty, mystical paradise on the one hand, or a bleak, barren wilderness on the other. To the people who live here, including deaf people, it's home. It's where their hearts and identities are. And as in Aberdeen, it's where they'd like to see their communities continue and flourish.
Oh, I've a lot to do, lots to do. I'll do my knitting or something. Oh yes, I've got lots to do.
Oh, hi, I'm all right. Quite content. I'm all right. I've got my DIY. I do a bit of joiner work, do some repairs. Yes, I'm fine.